What would you give Anthony Edwards? Now, it's a little harder to grade him this year because, like I said, hasn't played as many games as last year, obviously. He's been hurt. He's been hobbled. There's been some games like against that Sixers game that he played where there's really had no business being out there, and they were just trying to stretch it. I thought he's been really good in the clutch. There have been some hero ball issues, but I thought he's been really good. I'll give him a B+. What do you think so far for Anthony Edwards in the regular season?
Yeah, I would say, a B minus. Again, I mean, it's kind of what I expected. Like I need somebody to do more than what I kind of expected going in. I'm a little disappointed, like with Mike Conley taking a step back this year and us really needing playmaking from the guard position. I think he's really kind of dropped the ball on that. And he's really kind of been a real me first scorer, which, and I've said it on here, I'm all for that with him. But we need to have a real point guard if that's going to be the case. So I'm kind of speaking out of both sides of my mouth, where I want him to only be in kill mode all the time. But I also want that to happen when we have somebody that can let him get to that, But I would say that he's been kind of the downfall of some of our games and some of our offense, especially flow-wise. So that's kind of been disappointing. But his overall ability is what it is. It's miraculous. Like, him as a player is an A+ all the time. I'm just being a little bit probably hard on him because I want to see, him turn into, the max potential, whatever. So I would say a B-. I was hoping to see a little bit more.
Right. I understand that. I'm giving him a B+ just because of his clutch play, particularly early in the year. I feel like there were a lot of times where we won the game, and this has been true for the last couple of years, but there's been several times where this season where we just won because Ant bailed us out, is the way I put it. And his ability to do that, and particularly coming with the playoffs, is going to be totally important to what we want to do here if we want to make another run. Let's talk about Chris Finch. Obviously, a lot of the grade for a coach is predecessored by the offseason, because you're going against the best teams, you're going against the best coaches in theory. What have you thought of Chris Finch this year? I mean, and I know you have Anthony Edwards, but if nothing else, one of 3 Wolves coaches to make the playoffs. So, and like I said, that's the weird conundrum that we are in, because sometimes you get caught up in, we should be better. But this franchise has been so bad that, count your blessings a little bit. Well, what have you thought of Finch?
You said it. When Anthony Edwards has been out 20 games, we're 500. That's a huge plus in Chris Finch's side. Not many people, our team isn't very deep, when it comes to scoring in general. We've got 2 real guys that score, and then a bunch of guys that, can maybe get loose on the break. Maybe if they're wide open, they can hit an open jump shot, but no one that can really be relied on except for Randall and Edwards. And when one of those is out, that's a really, really big hill to climb. And for him to hold 50% or around that, that's amazing. We've talked about it on here with Andrew even. I kind of feel bad for Finch. I think that sometimes his team gets away from him on what he really wants to do, so he doesn't get to really run exactly the show he wants. I think he's doing well. I think he's controlling the emotions of the team and kept us, winning back-to-back or going to the Western Conference Finals back-to-back probably sometimes is hard to keep the motivation going for the 3rd year after that.
I actually think that I think he's done a good job. I think he's done better in timeout management. I think he's done better working with what he's had. Like you said, 11-9 without Anthony Edwards. And I know the Wolves in the past have been good without Anthony Edwards, but I think you can come out and play some 1 or 2 inspired games. But once you're without him for a couple weeks, then you kind of got to learn how it works without him. And there were some tough stretches without him, particularly last week where you had the 76ers, then the Charlotte game, And then there was another one, the Detroit game, which honestly, in retrospect, when you look back at a back-to-back against Detroit and the 76ers, I think a lot of times you're going to lose those games anyway.